What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to another top 10 list. This is going to be discussing the top 10 games that I avoided getting burned on, that were a disaster, that I would have hated, that would have just been a terrible experience for me, and probably a lot of other people as well. We're going to start like kind of mild, right? We're going to start just kind of like, oh yeah, probably wouldn't like that, probably wouldn't like that. I might be yelling at the end of this video. I don't know. We're going to see how this plays out. I'm unscripted here, so just bear with me as this ramps up in escalation probably pretty quick. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members for their financial support. It is because of them that I'm able to make videos just like this. If you appreciate the videos I make every single week for you guys, and you can give even $1 a month to help out, there is a link down below. Thank you so much for all of your support. And with that out of the way, let's just go and jump right in. I'm not going to like dilly-dally around. I'm going to say one thing, and it's because I'm going to come back to it later. I am filming this right now at 3:30 a.m. My car died while I went to the dentist today, which means I went to the dentist. It means my car died and was left there for hours while I was going back and forth. My boss yelled at me. I've had a crud day, but I'm here making this video for you guys because I love what I do. I love making these videos for you, and I hope you appreciate it. I will refer back to this statement later. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into it with a really kind of, this is actually kind of a fun one. Borderheim Chronicles. This was launched twice, canceled twice. It just did not fund. They got like 60,000, which was pretty good considering kind of what they're, I don't know. It's kind of weird because this looked really cool to me and it was at like a great price, maybe an unbelievable price, and maybe that's the issue. And it had a little kind of oddities. First, if I go all the way down here, I'm going to spoil everything and skip all the way over there. I want to show you the dude, look at that freaking art. That is freaking, like, that is amazing. I love that. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's so freaking cool. The whole team is pretty much from Ukraine, of all places, which is not actually too uncommon on Kickstarter, but it just because of recent events, stuff like that, I think it's kind of neat. I hope they are all doing well. There are a few in America, but if you look at their names, they're probably originally from Ukraine, for instance. She was graduated from Kiev, right, University there. So yeah, just a Ukrainian team kind of making this, and I think that really bled into the style of this that I really enjoyed. I like a lot of like heavy like metal rock music, like from Russia and Ukraine and that kind of area. Like I just really dig their attitude towards music sometimes when it comes to that space, and I love this style here too. I thought it looked great. I did not back it, and it turns out it was good because I would have just been disappointed when it got canceled twice. It's never going to be a thing. They had so many minis, so many cards, so many map tiles, so many everything. They were like applied to the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most unique components in a board game. I mean, it was literally just a ton of stuff. And I think maybe that was part of the issue, but it looks like they really tried too. I mean, like, so they're very indie, but it looks like, I mean, look, he's got like a whole kind of like rule book all set up, and you're going to see a lot of places that don't have, a lot of games that don't have that in the future. Anyway, it looked really cool. I thought it looked like a cool passion project, some cool style, a cool idea, very RPG-like. I liked a lot of what I saw, and ended up not pulling the trigger, and I think a lot of people did, and I think it was perhaps from a whole different, I mean, look, they even had a whole bunch of stretch goals already planned and stuff. It was going to be a whole thing, but just didn't end up being the case. So anyway, I hope they're safe wherever they're at right now. But yeah, no, that was a cool one. Twice, and both times, no. Next up, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past board game, specifically the first one, but really both. This is by IDW Games, and I thought it looked very cool. It was kind of around when I first started getting into board games, and I'm a nerd, you know, and read comics, so I've even had some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. Thought it looked very cool. Loved the art style. Didn't like the minis in the render, and it turns out they were just as bad in the final version. And not only that, but there was a lot of sloppiness. And this is kind of, I think, IDW's issue, was that it always kind of was lower quality than the competitors and often kind of sloppy too. And this was a good example of it. Apparently, it was a great game, and that really got me to try. Almost want to get the second one too. I decided to highlight this one because I didn't get either, and this one had some scale issues. Some of the minis were, you know, too big or too small, and none of them matched the artwork when it comes to scale. So they're all like giants in a playground with all the map tiles and stuff, and it had a lot of production issues. That at the end of the day, I'm spending thousands of dollars a year on board games that are physical products that I enjoy messing with and personally, you know, touching and moving and looking at and stuff like that. So I'm not interested in a print to play version. I'm not interested in, you know, a theater of the mind or of, you know, I don't even want to buy a rule set. I want to buy a game that's a physical thing that I can enjoy, and I struggle to enjoy them when I feel it's cheap plastic that's haphazardly done, and I just notice scale issues. It would have been a mess. I'm glad I avoided it, even though it apparently was actually a quite good game and got a whole other kind of Kickstarter treatment with a whole bunch of stuff. There were some issues with the Kickstarter there, with stretch goals going to different things, unless you got the all-in, whatever. Anyway, either way, just very, very happy that it was good for people that got it. Very glad I didn't get it. Next up, Fallen Knight, everybody's favorite. This game, my goodness. I put this on a thumbnail and you guys went bananas, and it's because I did the same. This looks incredible. Look at those crying baby things on that weird thing with lots of teeth and horns, and what the heck is going on? How did this only get 62,000 out of a 210,000 goal? How in the world are 379 backers there and they're all trolls? Well, it's because this was terrible. It was so bad, and they never came back, you know. So he had so many people. I forget how many it was, but it was like thousands and thousands of people on a Remind Me, and he just never clicked the launch button. And so hype started to like die down. People were like, "Dude, what the heck? Launch your game, right?" Like it is kind of an important thing on like when you launch, and you need to be ready enough, but you also need to not like put everything out there all, you know, real quick and then just let everything flatline, right? As new things come out, and oh my gosh, I've seen the same mini before. So looking at this, it is such a bad campaign. He had no idea what he was doing. He didn't show hardly anything. He's obviously like going towards the Kingdom Death Monster kind of look thing. But then like this is one of the coolest art pieces, and it's still a skull with a construction worker helmet. So it's still always kind of weird anyway. You know, you're like, what the heck's like, you see stuff like this, and then you saw the video and it's like terrible. You see a few cards. There's not really a gameplay here. You see some pictures here, I guess. You get a list of stuff, like you get all these different bodies and, you know, whatever these fallen knights are, and then some boss miniatures. Which boss miniatures? Well, you're not going to see because they only show 2 that they have. Here, yeah, you get 4 unlockable bodies and a memory story and then some standing. I don't know, dude. It was so bad. Here's an expansion. Would you like to spend $45 on this? This is the information you get. Do you want to buy this, please? No, not just based off of a picture and a list of things. Oh, good, I get a singer and guitarist, Aragon. What the heck is that? More pictures of the 2 minis. These minis are impossible, by the way. Like, look at this. Look at the tiny little points the tail connects to, the tiny little chain. This was never going to be an actual physical model. You made a pretty 3D render, not a miniature. Those are very different things. It was just bad. And that's it. You've not seen the whole campaign. And you wonder why it failed. I don't know if it was going to be a scam. I don't know if it was a quick, oh my gosh, here's some Kingdom Death Monster looking kind of stuff. I got 2 people to make some renders. I put it on there. I throw it on Kickstarter. I get some money and I leave. I don't know. But whatever it was, I don't trust them to ever make a board game and deliver it. So there's that. All right, next up is Senjutsu. This one was almost a trick. And this is why it's kind of a little bit higher up in there, because I think it would have burned me more. So I'm pretty picky with the kind of games. Like, I like certain genres, I like certain themes, I like certain styles, right? And that's just my personal preference, right? We all have it. Unless you like everything, in which case, congrats, I don't. And so Senjutsu Battle for Japan looked to be my jam. I was playing Ghost of Tsushima at the time. That didn't help. Like, I was all about this. This looks so pretty, so incredible. And I'm sure the final product will be a beautiful thing to put on your table. And I hope everybody gets a ton of enjoyment out of it. I did not like my time there. I didn't like it with the prototype that said, hey, we've made a whole bunch of changes. I played with the developer. I had the same issues. So, like it was still like just not for me. It is not I do not like the gameplay. And that kind of stuff can get really scary. It's something to always look at when you're looking at Kickstarters. Just because it looks your jam doesn't mean it plays your jam. And vice versa. It might play awesome, but it looks like crap, right? In fact, it's the polar opposite of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, right? This one, it sounds like it would be a game I would love, but I think it looks terrible. Senjutsu is a game that looks amazing to me, but I can't stand the gameplay. So glad I avoided that one. Okay, we're going to start getting ramped up here very shortly. But before we do, I'm going to actually share Trudvang Legends here. This is something I noticed ahead of time I wouldn't like. I did not like the rune system. I felt it was kind of the bouncer to fun, and it just prevented me from having fun. In other words, instead of attacking and then missing, you take the runes out randomly, and then if you don't get the runes you want for your sword, you're just told you can't attack at all. While the effect is the same on the enemy did not get attacked, I feel out of control. I feel like the game is allowing me or disallowing me to do things. Not my thing. Didn't like it. And it didn't help that there was a gameplay video where like it was the first, attack and a person almost dies and then they can never attack anybody. It was a terrible, terrible presentation and it was cringy because they were trying to have fun with it and, because you try to put in your best effort there and it just wasn't working out. It was actually kind of hilarious. I watched that video so many times just to see the picture on the one of the guys just left for like half the video. He just like, I'm out. And then he came back later on like, hey, what's going on? It was bad. It was really bad. And it turns out it's because the game just wasn't ready yet. You're going to hear that a lot in this list as well. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but there's 12 games here. Nobody wants to hear a top 12. You want to hear a top 10. So it's a top 10 plus 2. So whatever. Anyway, the Trudvang Legends was under underbaked when it hit the Kickstarter, and when that happens, you run the risk of having that development. Sometimes you go along a path and you're developing for a year and you're like, no, I really need a course correct. Let's go back to version 0.2 and go this way instead of this way. And that's really what they did, I think, with Trudvang Legends. Eric Lang has left since then. They've hired new people on to do it. They're going different directions. They're trying to still keep the rune system and all that. It's a very different game though, and I hope people love it when they get it. However, it was very much early. It was very obviously early, especially looking back on hindsight 2020 there. Very obviously, and just an underbaked idea that they quickly threw on Kickstarter and then had to develop. And part of that development ended up doing this, and doing this made it to where it was super delayed. It was supposed to deliver in December of 2020. It is now getting towards the springtime now and spring weather of 2022. So yeah, and I think July they're getting the core box, and then God knows when on the other stuff. So it is super delayed, because that's what happens when you launch a campaign and make a campaign, not a game, make games, not campaigns, and then make a game after the fact. So yeah. Speaking of which, the Everrain. This was a real big bummer. I actually got into a fight with the owner of Grimlord Games on this because he didn't like being called lazy, but it is what it is. So the problem here is I do detail video, right? And I haven't done them in this style in a while, but I used to script out videos more. And so I would have a Kickstarter and then a game detail. So it was Kickstarter details, game details. It was 2 parts of the same video. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I went day one of the Everrain. I was so excited. It looks beautiful. Again, it looks amazing, right? And so I'm super excited. It launches on Tuesday. I'm literally like, not working and instead doing this because this is one of them, my bosses won't know or whatever, I'm doing this, I'm looking over it, and I fill out all my Kickstarter stuff. And then I go to do my game details and I had 2 bullet points. And I was so frustrated and angry with that you would launch something with no gameplay, no rule book, no nothing, just a general, hey, there's like Cthulhu crap in like boats. Like what the heck does a giant mini do? What? How do you win? It kind of mentions like, oh, you got to prevent it from spawning, but then it's like, oh, but then he does it because there's a mini of him. So like, do you keep going? Don't know. Buy my game. Same thing. And again, massively delayed. This was due October 2019, and it's just now delivering. Now people are getting their game. They're saying it's great, and that's awesome for them. But I want there to be a game on display, not a whole bunch of marketing ads and pictures of product. If you have more time spent drawing, getting art for your box with a price point next to it than actually figuring out what the heck is in that box, not interested. They had fully painted minis by a great painter, by the way. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we're actually friends on Facebook. He paints wonderfully, and he has some very like we align in movies, and then we kind of veer off, and then we align. It's fun. I love it. But they had all-in minis, all their minis sculpted, printed, painted, and no gameplay. And so then after everybody complains, he like uploads like a 7-11 page a third rule book that's like unformatted, that still doesn't even have something basic like how to win the game. So I still don't even know how to win this game. I don't know. Is it victory points? Is it you play for 3 hours and afterwards whoever can belch the loudest wins? I don't know. I was so angry that you would do that you would just throw it on there, and that because people liked your last game, I think it was Village Attacks, that they'll just back it mindlessly based off of pretty pictures and nothing else. You could just show pretty pictures and say, hey, I'll make a game eventually. And now look at this. It's due October 2019, and they're just now getting it. And that's what happens when you make a campaign and then have to make a game afterwards real quick because it funded. Because people gave you £360,000 for you to have for years while you make the game that wasn't ever a thing when you actually took their money. So anyway, yeah, I told you this would get heated. I told you it's going to get worse. Subterra 2 Inferno's Edge. Okay, so I thought the Subterra minis looked actually really cool. The first one, actually, even. And so when the second one came around, I was like, that looks kind of cool. Maybe. The gameplay ended up not looking anything like what I want, and so I didn't. Thankfully, I'm glad I dodged this bullet as well. This was due March 2021. Still not out yet. The problem is, you get stuff like this, right? So here it is, March 17th, and oh my gosh, oh no, our manufacturer is locked down. They're working remote. They can't do anything. Oh no, this is terrible. The problem is this stuff has been going on forever. I mean, forever. Look at this. And on August 6th of 2021, so almost a year ago now, we're approaching mass production. And then what happened with mass production? In October, let's see, when is it? They mentioned it here in one of these here that they were going to start in like 2 weeks. And it just, I don't know when 2 weeks happened over the course of almost a year, but it obviously didn't. Is in production, finally, am I right? Okay, so they've been producing since November. You want to tell me they've been producing for November and December and January and February and half of March? No. You did not have everything done. Now, you may have started making things, but that doesn't mean it's in like mass production where, and I guess what I'm saying is you're not communicating, you're kind of BSing, right? And you're not actually saying what's going on. You're not saying your actual like status of everything if you still have 5 months worth of work and still nothing. And then they have stuff like this where they mention that we were unfortunately issues with printing one of the rule books that we thankfully caught. This is the kind of vague crap from other companies that have said stuff like this. There was a production issue. Well, what the freak was the issue? You have hundreds of my dollars and you can't tell me what the issue was? You're just going to vaguely say there was a printing issue with the rulebook. The rulebook that you've been printing since November of last year? Or the one that you just started? The one that you approved? Did they mess up or did you mess up? Considering you're not saying, I'm assuming it's you. It just sucks that they can't spend the time on this stuff. I know how much it works. I've been on the back end of this stuff to know how much work goes into this. They have a whole team, right? You give your miniatures over to a company and they assign a mini to a person or a couple minis to a person. They have a massive team of people, and all they do, because this is what they do, this is their job, is make minis, is taking your minis and adjusting it so it prints nice and do all this, and then they send it all back. And now suddenly it's on your lap, and they're waiting on you to go through every single one of your minis, the entire thing, all of your minis. And so then you're like this, and then you send it back to them, and they do their whole team thing, and they send it back to you. Can you guess which side of that equation is slower? It's normally the dev's time, because you don't have, first of all, you probably don't even have your sculptors anymore. Your sculptors are probably contract. And so you're just looking at this now just as like a Joe Schmo, like, oh, I don't know. I mean, is it good? Is it bad? I don't like how fat that is now. Can you make it? You know, so then you go back and forth. But this is what they do. So while there can be some communication delays, there can be issues there, for the most part, there's a ton of work to be done by the developer, even during production, by going back and forth with the manufacturer to make it nice and make it good and whatever, right? And so when I see stuff like in production for 5 months, all I see is I'm not really doing this full time. I am doing this video at 3:30 in the morning. It's probably like 4 a.m. right now. I'm losing sleep because I want to get this video out to you. And this is not my job. If I can do this, why can't you work on your crap? How much money did he take from you guys? 291,000, almost 292,000 pounds, and he can't be bothered to work on the freaking game. In fact, look, this is an update. Like, this is, okay, you have now been in mass production for 5 months. You just told everybody that, oh my gosh, we're just like on, they have shut down the manufacturing center. I don't know what's going on. I'll keep you guys updated. Oh my gosh. And we get, how long did it take you to write this? It's like 4 paragraphs, and each paragraph is a sentence each. It's like my kids trying to get, you know, like, oh man, I gotta submit an essay, and it has to be 7 paragraphs. I'll make every sentence a paragraph. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, what is the reason I say this is because their backers are more organized. Their backers can do timelines. A backer made this for them, where it shows, hey, look, they're ahead of schedule way back in like early 2020. They apparently were, and now suddenly they're not. And oh no, apology number 1. Like, they have mapped this out and made a nice image. Why can't you have a timeline? In my opinion, if I want to trust you with my money to be able to actually like make a board game, which is very complex, at the very least, you should know what a Gantt chart is. At the very least, you should know what blockers are and timelines and buffers and all this other kind of stuff, so you can make a realistic timeline with actual milestones that you have marked out, that you're gauging towards that next milestone, and then the next milestone out of that, like kind of a wave 1, wave 2 situation. If you don't even understand what I'm talking about, you don't need to be making a board game. Designing stuff is different than making stuff. We can all think of ideas. We can all think, oh, that'd be cool if this game... That's fine. Now go make that logistically with thousands of components with a company that doesn't even speak your same language except for one dude that you talk through email with, and then ship it out to dozens of countries around the world. If you can do that, great. If you can't, don't go on Kickstarter or find somebody that can. I don't think he can. I don't think the developers of Subterra can. I think they're just BSing their way through half a year's worth of updates of mass, manufacturing, and it's crap. And I'm this upset just looking at it, knowing that you guys have had no money that's now he has, and I feel like they're not even working on it. It's frustrating. So anyway, moving on. Overturn Rising Sun, or Rising Sands. Okay, so now we are at the point where I'm just looking at full-on scams. So this is where we're at in the video, and there's a few others that you've probably backed that I'm also going to be considering scams. So yeah, this is the start of the scams. Okay. Overturn, they got busted bad. So they did the same kind of thing, right? Where it's like, oh, look, we're in Canada. It's like, you're not Canadian. Right, because let me see if they list their stuff here. Yeah, here we go. So these are the Canadians. In case you didn't know, they ended up being from Pakistan. But they had like a cousin in Ukraine that did email. It's all BS, kind of like, well, our cousin has access to the email, and he wrote an email once, so he's kind of on the team, and he's in Canada currently. So launch as Canadian on Kickstarter. It's like, I don't think that's how it works. You should at least tell people where you're at. And just own it. I think that's great. Like, you should be proud of where you're from. Anyway, it's kind of funny that happened. But they also, their logo here is actually actually, can I even see it? It's all small here. That's actually the part of the logo from Firefox, like literally, like lifted off of that. And then, of course, there was a lot of minis that looked very similar to other digital assets because there was all digital. There was no physical anything shown here. And, of course, then famously, they were stealing wholesale rules from Kaman. So then Kaman actually contacted Kickstarter and said, hey, they are taking our rules and they're just throwing it up saying it's theirs now. And not exactly super kosher. Now, that's actually very much how often you do game development. You take something you like, okay, I want to do a dungeon crawl. Well, take a dungeon crawl you like and now change things, modify things. But you don't then just throw up. It's throw up is probably used on purpose there, accidentally. Their rules as like yours. It had the same flow, the same structure, the same wording. It was they copy pasted the rules. So it was a fake game from the get-go, and they had so many renders and it looked so real and actually fairly professional, minus the whole dark minis on a dark background, but it legitimately looked like a lot. And in fact, they had the 3D terrain. I'm a sucker for terrain. This looked cool to me, and I'm so glad I did not back this. I'm so glad it was found out. And I mean, look at this giant dragon they were going to do. Oh my gosh, it's a free dragon expansion. You were to get that for free. Oh, this is insane. Look, they don't even, they could just have floating minis. Yeah, this was a bad one. Look at that thing. Oh my gosh, that would have been so cool. What lost potential? What lost potential? Now, you know, I actually tend to be a little optimistic in this kind of thing. My wife would be very pessimistic. And so I want to say it's not even malicious. They weren't actually out to go steal your money. They were just happened to lie about where they were from, happened to lie about having a board game, happened to steal miniatures, hence the DMCA violations where they were taken down. Minus all the theft. I feel like it may have stolen. I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, obviously. Actually, look here. They actually did print out. I lied about their non-physical stuff. They have like little towns and everything. See, stuff like this. It's like, it looks like they were trying. They 3D printed their stolen minis at least. That's kind of cool, right? Golly. Okay, yeah, you don't want that. All right, so next up. Oh my gosh, Grimlord Games gets 2 entries. Congratulations, Grimlord Games. Way to make a good reputation for yourself. So this is Village Attacks Grim Dynasty. I was so close to backing this. I literally, I had it open for days as I agonized. I hate spending money. I'm a huge penny pincher. It's just a personality trait. My wife has to suffer through it. I wanted this game. It looked so I love the theme of it. I love the idea. Village Attacks seems so cool. This was very much before I started paying attention to a lot of companies and what companies were doing and stuff like that, right? You know, you're new to Kickstarter and you're just trying to have some fun and looking at these cool games. Yeah, sure. You remember how they launched a name with some art and some minis and said, this is a game, pretensies, buy our game, and then people are like, hey, are there any rules to this? They're like, yeah, sure. And then days later, here, I've made 7 pages real quick. Told you it's a game. Right? And then they developed it for like the next 3-4 years as it was delayed because they didn't actually have a product they were selling you. They were just selling you art. Well, that didn't stop them from making more art. and so here comes Village Attacks. Afterwards, they still haven't delivered their Never Rain, right? This was supposed to be in June 2020. It's now, again, getting towards June 2022. And and the updates are like April 2021, nothing. They just completely abandoned because they didn't make either of these games. They just made campaigns and had you give them... How much money did they take from you guys here? £293,000 is what they took. Thank you so much. I guess we'll go make something now, perhaps. So they hadn't made either of these things, right? They launch 2 campaigns, get hundreds of thousands in funds, and then have to go figure out, okay, I guess we need to go make the Everrain. So then they go make the Everrain and just ignore Village Attacks. This may as well not exist because they're still making the game from the last time they launched something. And so, and so they just stopped even writing updates. But then don't worry. October 11th of 2021, they're going to be resuming the communication. They're picking it back up. I know it's been since April. I know we haven't spoken to you at all, and we don't care because we already have your money and there's no game to give you, and there never was. But we're going to resume communication. And they even admit, it's like, hey, we were like, the sheer scope and complexity of making a board game after launching the Kickstarter campaign. Our prior campaign that we took money from without a product, taking it more focused than we anticipated. But don't worry, as the game development of the Evergreen is now complete, and October 11th of 2021, we can now start getting updates. But the problem with, it's kind of like if you don't ever wear your seatbelt in a car, right? And then you're like, crap, I just got pulled over and I got in trouble, got this ticket, I don't want another ticket, I need to start putting my seatbelt on. So you're like, I'm going to start putting my seatbelt on. That's the resuming communication. The problem is that is not habit. That is not how you operate. It's not how you think. It's not how you do. If you cared that much, you would have been doing it. You don't care, right? They don't care to update you. That's why it's not on their high. They supposedly work full time, right? That means for 40 hours a week. Again, I'm doing this in the middle of the freaking night, and this isn't even my job. This is their job, where they clock in. They're like, okay, I'm at work now making this board game. Hey, did anybody speak to the people that gave us all this money? Never asked. Never even thought of. How do you spend 40 hours a week on this thing and not even think when was the last time we spoke to these people? April? Oh my gosh. We're going to resume communication. That didn't last long, by the way. So they had a November, they had a December, and that's it. And we're now in March. So it's now been 3 months. No update, no nothing. And even this is like show and tell crap. It's just like junk. It's like, oh, hey, look, see, there is a game. We're making it. Because what they're sharing is all the new crap they just made because they didn't have it before when they came to Kickstarter. You poor people. I'm so sorry for anybody who backed this. It must suck to be treated like trash. I hate it. And this is why it's so high on the list, because it would infuriate me so much. I can't stand it. They don't even have my money. If they had my money, I would be flipping. You guys would be so sick of me making a video talking about how crappy Grimlord Games is as a company and how terrible they treat their customers and how trash tier service they provide. I don't care if they make a good game, because the entirety of their essence otherwise is poo-poo. So anyway, you guys deserve better. I said that in a thumbnail just the other day. You guys deserve better. They exist. They are feeding their families. They are paying their mortgage, driving their car because of the money you gave them. And they can't even think, hey, Bob, I'm in here 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, every single week because this is my job. When was the last time we spoke to our backers? We have backers? Yes, Bob, we have backers. I don't think we've talked to them. Whatever, we got their money. And then they go, screw them. Screw you, Grimlord Games. I told you I'd get upset. I can't stand this crap. They have no respect. No respect. They have your money for years. No respect. Get out of here. You deserve every bad thing that happens to your company because you're a bad company. Moving on. Eternal Adversary. I came close to this one too. This again is, look at that. Look at this right here would get me, if there was the pledge button's right here and that's the background, I want to click the pledge button. That is freaking sweet. Peterson, I think, is a very passionate guy. I think he loves what he does. I've loved his video games. I have been interested in just about every board game he's made because it looks cool. I like his style. I think him and I would get along great if he never saw any of my videos. I really do. I think he's probably a really cool guy. He seems to be into because he's kind of older, but he's into this cool stuff. He reminds me a lot of you guys, actually. No offense. You know who you are. But seriously, I dig it. I really do. I love the passion. I love how immersed he is in this world and how he just wants to make stuff. And not only that, but I think there's actual game stuff here. I don't think it's necessarily what I've seen in these other ones, what I've shown you before, where it's oh my gosh, we just have haven't like made a game yet. I think he's constantly making games and working on like 5 games at once and making all these, oh, this is a cool thing here. I imagine that's what he does every freaking Saturday. He just sits in he has a really cool house. I've seen, he does like videos from it. It's like freaking sweet. So he sits in this really freaking sweet house and he's making all these cool games with this cool art everywhere. And I want to back it because it looks sweet. However, just like I said, gosh, I don't know how long this video is. Just like I said, like 20 minutes ago or whatever, right? Like, just because you can think up ideas does not mean that you can then make it a reality, make it a physical thing. That is the key to success, right? It's not just, that's a cool idea. Is it marketable? Is it practical? And can I logistically do it? And run a business to logistically do it and not and like run it well and efficient and profitable. And every single one of those other things fails. Sandy Peterson should work at a game company. He should not run a game company. And that's both because of scope, right? In other words, I think he needs some kind of direction to be like, okay, you need to like, it's kind of like a Star Citizen kind of thing where it's like, I get your passion and I get you have all these ideas, but let's just deliver this one, Sandy. Let's hone in on this. And then go. And don't worry, you just worry your pretty little head about making the coolest mechanics ever with a cool theme and it's just awesome gameplay. People are going to love it. And I'll worry about running a business and making profit and paying employees and being able to not just go under, not deliver everything. Because if you didn't know, Peterson Games has been in trouble. They've been like selling like apartments to try and fund this stuff, to try and get it out there. And it's bad. And that, I mean, it's bad. And so like with that, it sucks, right? Because it looks so freaking cool. I loved this. It has this really cool, like they even had one, I think it was like a wheel guy. If I remember correctly, maybe I can go find it. It was sweet. And the map is like this like turny thing. It's not like your typical square stuff, which was very cool, I thought. I mean, all these, I mean, again, I love everything I see here. It's all cool. It's all cool to me. Like, every one of them. I love it. This looked cool, and I almost backed it, and I'm glad I didn't. And I hope that at some point in the future, his passion for creating board games can be paired with a different person, whoever is in charge now shouldn't be, a different person that can be the business guy, right? You almost need that pairing. Right? You need the creative guy and business guy. And they need to butt heads every now and then too. So the business guy makes sure the creative guy doesn't get carried away. And the creative guy makes sure the business guy isn't some soul-sucking, money-grubbing, terrible person, right? Like you need to have the passion, but then you also need, and the great product, but then you also need to be able to have the product. So right now, there's a lot of people that don't have the product when it comes to Peterson Games, and I'm glad I didn't get into the Peterson game dilemma because he likes to invest and come out with the Cthulhu Wars again and come out with this new mini and this new thing, and I would have been in deep. I'm bullet dodged. Okay, all right, so this is great. Okay, so this is quick check-in, February 18th, 2022. Fairly recent, right? And oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. They got minis from their factory. Look at these. These are great. Wow, behind the scenes minis. These look great. The problem is, look at that. We're nearing the end of tooling. By my count, by Tony's count, they're ending the near of tooling. I would like the manufacturer to see if they're nearing the end of tooling myself. I don't want to know if I want Tony's remark on this. February 18th. You ready for this? August 2021. Behold, new miniature samples. Tooling for the miniatures has been a long and painful process with literally 4 full restarts, but it's finally nearing completion. And it's the same freaking stuff. Now, the question is either, and you got to ask yourself this, either they're just totally inept when it comes to making games, right? I'm not talking designing games, I'm talking making games, right? And they've been through this a lot. So either they were nearing completion from August of last year to late February, early March of this year, and they're still nearing completion. Or they got all of these minis at this time and only showed you these pictures, and now they're only showing you these pictures. Like, because it's even the same like photo session now, whether they got it from the. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying you're showing the same freaking crap half a year later, almost a whole year later, and saying the same thing. This update is August of last year with no progress. So if you back to this kind of, good luck. Just good luck. I seriously, the only thing I hope, if I have any benefit in this space, it's I hope I help people make better decisions and hopefully avoid a mistake. I'm showing you the times I've avoided mistakes, and I've fallen for it too. Nobody's perfect. Don't feel bad. And sometimes people have different thresholds. Some people are like, I don't care if it takes 18 years. Have my money. I don't even care about it. I won't even read updates. Just give me my game eventually. I'll be happy. And that's fine. You do you. You value your money. You value your time, and you value the business transaction you're saying when you give them the money in whatever year it is differently than anybody else. Nobody can tell you how to value your money, but ideally, knowing the kinds of things that happen, knowing the kind of updates companies do, or how they, like you should go into a Grimlord game, assuming they don't care too much afterwards. You should assume that it's not a game, and you should assume that they're not going to communicate. And if you're fine with that, then by all means. But otherwise, you get this stuff a year later. Okay. Finally, we have Street Masters Aftershock. Very kind of similar story here. So this is by Blacklist Games, which is in a very similar situation where they can't afford to give you your game anymore. The rising costs, right? Bad situation. Anything that was heavily delayed, anything that got their money a long time ago, that money's gone. They're not going to be making crap on this now, So they made $422,000. $420. That's a lot of money. That's not bad. I'd take $500,000. I'll give you some minis. They'll probably be right over there. But October 2019 was when this was due. And the problem is they started shipping and then stopped. So only a few people got their game and everybody else is just screwed. And the problem, and again, I can't stress enough the effort that they, or lack thereof, that they put into this stuff. I took no money from you guys. I'm offering a free video. You've paid nothing to see this. And I'm losing sleep because I want to make something for you so that you have a cool Friday, so that you can upload it and hopefully you go, oh, hey, King of Average made a top 10 list. And based off the title, he's probably going to get a little angry. I'll watch him all freak out in the middle of the night, because that's what I'm doing here. I do it because I love it. I do it because I care about you guys and I care about what I do here. Pay or not, I'm passionate about it, or I wouldn't have started the YouTube channel. These people took $500,000 from you. $500,000 from people from years ago. And they can't be bothered to write an update in February? At least the other guy wrote 4 fake paragraphs. Where's your March update? Why have you not spoken to these people that you took money from since January? What is wrong with these companies? I was told Board Game Spaces on Kickstarter was a great place to be. This isn't great. This is people taking $500,000 and then barely speaking to you. Can you imagine if your buddy did that? Your friend? Nonetheless a stranger or a business? Hey, I need to borrow $500,000. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Just, just keep talking until I get it back or get something equivalent, okay? Oh yeah, sure, whatever. I'm never speaking to you again. I guess I will begrudgingly. Every other month. Like, who does that? I wouldn't accept that from a friend, nonetheless a business, a company. Let's look at the January update. Development status complete. Well, hopefully it's been enough years. Manufacturing status complete. It's all built. Fulfillment status ongoing. This is, look at this small little update. Pick up a factory pending. The move to the new factory warehouse mentioned in previous updates is complete, and we are working to arrange, by the way, that took months. We are working to arrange a shipping schedule. This will lead to loading onto vessels where a 30 to 60 day voyage to hubs awaits. We will share vessel information for, this is so well worded to make it seem like something's happening. That warehouse is a storage warehouse, and they ain't shipping that crap at all. the problem is, again, they took the shipping money way earlier and now they can't afford to ship it. So if you can't afford to ship it, then you will be, it's so well worded, working on arranging a shipping schedule. In other words, saying, I have $50. Will anybody ship my game for $50? And everybody's like, price is $500. And like, shipping, I'm working on it. $50. Anybody? No? Okay, I'm just going to sit in this warehouse for a while. And I love how they call it a factory warehouse. And, oh yeah, we just have to move to the factory warehouse. You move to long-term storage where it's going to collect cobwebs. That was a weird click in the that was weird. Where it's going to collect cobwebs and dust and have, you know, little mice nibble at the corners of your games while it just sits there in purgatory until they can ship it. Now, that's a crappy situation. I'm not trying to hate on them on that. What I'm saying is own your freaking crap. I have made mistakes and I make a video and I follow up saying, yeah, I was wrong here. It was actually this. It was actually that. It was this, or whatever. Like I always try to do that. And again, I'm not taking nobody's money. It's just me making videos and posting them online. You know how much crap gets posted online? And I can correct myself. Why can't you just talk to these people? You can't speak to them every month. And when you do, you talk to them like this, like, oh yeah, the move to the new factory warehouse. Just call it the storage unit while you wait for shipping. Tell it like it is. Man up and own your crap. So I can't stand the purposeful, not only did they take your money, not only did they take all that money from you, from hardworking consumers that just wanted a cool game that you promised them. Not only can you not even talk to them, but when you do, you try to purposely word things and manipulate and scheme and connive and I'll say it again, screw you, Blacklist Games. You suck. Now, again, I've gotten into it with the brothers because they don't like being called lazy. Hey, look, I don't care who you are. Okay? What are your names again? Like, isn't it like Brady or something like that? Maybe I can talk to them specifically. Where are you? I'm sure it's advertised somewhere. I'll talk to them. Okay, Adam and Brady. Talking to you now. Not that you're watching this crap, but it's 4 a.m. I'm recording a video for my viewers. This is like 26,000. Not all of them are going to even watch this video. You can lose a little bit of sleep and write an update every month. It'll take you half an hour and knock it out, especially if you're just honest and not working about, oh, how do we word this? How do we word that? Just bang one out. Just make it. I don't care if it's midnight and you're tired. You took people's money and you're not giving them crap. Let them know what's going on. It's not hard. It's just a few keystrokes. There's nothing hard about it. Write an update. It'll take you 30 minutes to just say, hey, what's going on? I have at my work, I have a stand-up every day at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, where I, every single day, say what I do the day before, what I plan on doing today, were there any blockers, do I have any issues, do I need to meet with anybody, right? And then we figure it out, right? We just have a little team stand-up where I give an update daily on kind of where I'm at. Oh, I struggled with this. Oh, I started doing this. Oh, and then this person came and they wanted this. I worked on their item for a while, and hopefully I can get to my item again this. I know it's late, or like you just talk, and you're open, and you're honest, because you're with people that you're trying to work towards doing something, or you somehow have a business relationship with. You took these people's money, you have a business relationship with them. So again, this is a 15-minute meeting where we all talk in 15 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to say it. This is what I did. This is what I'm hoping to do. This is where we're at. This is where I'm at. You have a question? Okay, I can answer it after the meeting or whatever. Like, you just do it. Talk to your people. This started out so fun. All right, guys, maybe I'm just tired. I hope, and by the way, I'm not complaining. I chose to do this. Like, I don't think I'm over here like, oh guys, I'm recording. Nobody has a gun in my head. I could have gone to sleep. I chose to do this because I love it. I hope you loved it too. Sorry I yelled at you for half an hour or however long this is. I will have a follow-up video, much more fun. Another top 10 list of some very cool games that I've never covered before. I've recently discovered them or I've learned about them or whatever. They look super cool and I want to share them with you guys. It's a fun video, I promise. I promise it will be. That being said, there are 12 bullets that I dodged that would have killed me. If I got this upset and they didn't even take my money, imagine me being one of their backers. They would not want me as one of their backers. So I guess they dodged a bullet too. See, everybody wins. Guys, have a great rest of your day. If you have an experience or you have something, I know you guys love to tell me like problem campaigns, and I do. I every time you make a comment, I can't always respond to every comment, but I do read them all. And when I see them, I'll add it to a list. I have a to look into list, and as I get time, I look into those things and I try to see what's going on here, what's the issue here, what are they not saying here, and as I can and as I deem appropriate, I like sharing this kind of stuff. So while it's not all like what they did was true to Among Legends, while they shouldn't have released the campaign like when they did, good for them for working on the game and delivering it. And at the end of the day, Grimlord Games, same thing. Like, they are delivering a good game, so that's good. Like, they're not all evil. Like, that's fine. Some are inept, some are evil, some could care less, some are just, you know, not good at what they do. You know, it's a wide variety of things. But anyway, let me know, and I'll keep adding to that list. I'll keep looking into it as I can. And good things too. If you saw something that was really good, I would love to hear that too. Believe it or not, good news is good to hear. Hence good. So anyway, have a great rest of your day, guys. Seriously, I'll be back with a very, very fun video coming up in just a few days here. And also that review, I owe you that. I'm getting Oko Chronicles. I'll be showing you that. There's a lot coming up, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, take care. Bye, guys.